War. What is it good for? It's good for entertaining racing. Welcome, everyone, to PRL Performance Racing League from Bahrain. Our Sunday Tier 2 will go first, taking to the track and avoiding aerial strikes. For round 2 of Season 16, I am your host, and I'll be here all night, Hoot BK, or day, depending on where you are. It's so good to have Tier 2 action again. I was fortunately unable to join the stream last week. I think Gord took over for me. I haven't seen it yet, as we already have a V-carb off. Tar Heels trying to get her on the track. But it's so nice to have 2 Sunday tiers. I know we have a couple of guys pulling double duty for the Tier 1, which will start in about 2 hours' time, probably 30 minutes after the end of this race. But it's still nice to have a pretty solid grid and 2 mostly full tiers. So Frosty is now the lead car on track. We do have a couple guys pulling double duty. I believe Tar Heels, Ghost Viper, probably Craig, and Rusty. Welcome back, Jesper, our very own Nico Rosberg. Has a Sunday Tier Championship. I think it was Tier 1 under his belt. I can't actually find the champion history in the Discord. I know we have it somewhere, but I went looking for it, and I cannot find. But welcome back. This is his first race in quite some time, I believe. Pretty solid group of guys here. We are going to go to Frosty, one of the OGs, for a lap around Bahrain. Long run to turn 1. He's going to run into traffic immediately, braking at the beginning of the curb on the left. Slow down into 2, into second gear. A little kink, which there's not a lot of traction on exit towards turn 3, as we see. DRS zone, taking the esports line, dipping the tires over the curb, and a lot of understeer and then oversteer through 4. That corner widens on exit, so a lot of good battles we'll see there. Pretty much one line through the downhill S section towards turn 8. Another heavy braking zone. Back on the throttle, bit of wheel spin towards a very tricky 9 and 10. You got a trail brake here while turning the car to the left. We'll see plenty of dives down the inside there. Some of them ill-advised into another DRS zone. Towards turn 11, you can kind of keep some momentum because the track is pretty wide on exit. I believe it's 13 into sector 2, and then almost a little trail braking section once more into 14. Trail brake down to 4th gear, and then a nice long run to the final corners. No DRS zone. Final corner is actually 2 corners. A couple different ways to take it. Back on the throttle, dumping battery with the flap open. First lap of the day is a 129.8. And there's a lap around the Bahrain International Circuit. We'll have some other cars coming across the line here. Tar Heels, 134. Good to improve on that. I think he was giving a bit of tow to his teammate, J-Story. Rusty and Albingo Jimbo, who was the story of last week, to the top of the board in the 128s. Turner, close by, just a 3/10 behind in the McLaren. It's P2. Jesper's first lap in many a millennia is in the 130s. Slots him into 5th of 7. We did get a Master in, so we've bumped up to 15. I don't know how they want me to say this name. I'm just going to call them Lit. That's Lit in the Ferrari. And Number. Not familiar with either of these guys, but welcome. If you've been here a while, I'm sorry. Number jumps to 8th. Lit is 10th. think I'm going to have to recharge here and go at it one more time. Gold Killer, 128.7. Takes provisional pole by about a tenth, and Ghost Viper completely obliterates that at a 128 flat in the Williams. Let's go talk about how close it might be, and it still might be close. J-Story getting a good lap in, jumps to P3, just gets past Bingo Jimbo. Still so much time left in the session, 12 minutes. See if I can find the pace rankings from last week. Yeah, Bingo Jimbo running around the streets of Baku. Pretty solid win for him. But Gold Killer, J-Story, Ghost Viper, all of a lot of good pace. Turner showed off plenty of pace as well in the midweek. Plenty of contenders here. Let's go to Rogue, who I believe is on their first lap, taking a lot of curb into 10. Whipping that Mercedes around. His teammate Cax currently sits in P7. I do like that there is a long straightaway that doesn't have DRS around this track. Has no fuel, has no battery, but has a lap time, and that's P6 for Ruin Rogue, and by just 1,000th of a second over Frosty. I'm sure we'll get a little bit of a lull here. How about we go to Master? It's 3M, or Come Master, as he was dubbed in midweek last week. Should have a couple more guys joining us, hopefully, if their internet cooperates. So we could have 17, which is awesome, awesome, awesome. I love that we have essentially 4 tiers that are blossoming here at PRL. Master to the final corner. Flap open on the rear wing. Into the 129s. That's good for P6 on the board. So now all 15 drivers have times. See if anyone's on a push here. Craig down. Tar Heels down. Didn't see a split there for Lit. Because it could be Litty K, it could be Litek. We're going with Lit. Litty? Maybe it's French. Jimbo on another hot lap, it looks like. Where is he at the split? I would not call this a hot lap, actually. So already making a mistake, perhaps. Bounce around. Lit not pushing very hard. Hello, Gortsauce. How was it last Sunday? I didn't get a chance to watch the VOD, but seems like Jimbo had it well in hand. Tar Heels. Track does not go that way. We saw Lit and Gold Killer almost get into it in the final sector. Very happy to see that some of these are, the tiers are so close at the top for the most part. Except for maybe midweek tier 2. We're looking at the guy who's kind of running away with it we expect he will, at least. But all the other tiers, we've got quite a fight on our hands. And I guess the jury's still out on Sunday Tier 2 with Bingo Jimbo, but I think there's plenty of contenders here. Yeah, midweek 2 is kind of in a weird spot because there's always going to be one or two guys that are probably should be in midweek Tier 1. There's just not enough room for them. Last season, it was Echo Alex absolutely annihilating. I think he had like 11 wins in 14 races. And I think he raced in only 12 of those. So literally 11-1 on the season. Just annihilating midweek Tier 2. Had a great finish to start the season, this season in Tier 1. And this year, it might be Gold Killer this season. Oh, I forgot to mention, Cum Master is P6 now. You're never not going to have that nickname. The lead Haas on the grid as of now. Ooh, let's go to Jimbo, who I had just was about to call out. He was up 8 tenths and then ran wide in the final corner. Yes, but that was going to be my next point. Midweek Tier 2 is really, really close behind Gold Killer. There's about 8 or 9 different drivers that could be on the podium at any given week. So still a super exciting battle. It just might not be for P1. Ghost Viper finds some more time into the 127s. 127.9. Gold Killer is, I think, heading to the pit lane, 128.3. The driver's finding time. Cac has found about 3.5 tenths. That should send him up the board. Even if he holds steady, that's good for P7. 4.5 tenths. Good for 7th. A little bit of a jump to P8. I guess that's really only 2 tenths, but... Craig finding just a touch of time. I think he had just found time, actually. Ghost Viper has some fans in the chat as we're inside 5 minutes left on the session. Best of luck to you, Master, heading out for another run. Right on cue. Let's see, I believe, is that Ruin? Yes, Ruin, Rogue. Not a great first 2 sectors. Can he pull out a great final sector and find some time? No. Heads to the pit lane. Ghost Viper just behind him. Here's Craig. He's found a little bit more time. But it wasn't enough for his liking. Maybe he blew it in Sector 3. So look, Jesper's #1 hater in the chat. I guess if you have haters, that means you've made it. Very exciting, exciting lore between Jesper and Gord from previous seasons of Sunday racing. So, like a good rivalry here. It's also why I call Jesper the Nico Rosberg, because he won a championship and just kind of pieced out. Coming up on 3 minutes left in the session. And that's 3 minutes till the checkered flag. Jesper being back means league racing is alive and well. I would agree. I would agree. He's the... what's the term I'm looking for? He's the symbol of health. How about that? Yeah, we just, as long as there's no Norwegians, it'll be okay. It's like, oh, people are racing again, and you hear, it's like, oh god, they're right behind me, aren't they? The Norwegians are right behind me. Here with a baseball bat and 8/10 of time that they just magically made appear. Hopping around, and Jesus, there's a lot going on here in turns 1, 2, and 3. Cars trying to get out of the way, other cars starting push laps. Master was improving, but cut the apex at, I'm pretty sure that's turn 14 here. Maybe a track map would be good for, considering I did a different league who raced here last week, I should know how many corners are on this damn track, but I don't, so sue me. Frosty also found time, and never mind. Rusty did not find time. He might have another run, though. Trying to see, I'm just kind of bouncing around. I'm looking for splits and not really getting them. Closing in on 1 minute, so cars coming around. If they're on an out lap, they've got time. Pretty much everyone on a push. Here we go. Bingo Jimbo, 6/10 up. That'll put him on the front row. Will he have enough left in the tank to make a run at the pole position? And still needs another 4/10. Does he get it? 1:28.2. Does not quite get there, but it is good enough for P2. Ghost Viper holding steady at the top of the board. Gold Killer now finding time through 2 sectors. How does the final sector look? Still needs another 10th or so. 10th and a half, maybe. Does he get it? 1:28.1. Misses out, but that's good for P2. Sends Jimbo back to P3 and the second row. J-Story has found a bit of time through his first sector. CAC finding some time. Master is done for the day, and Jesper found nearly 9/10. That puts him P8, splitting the field as the checkered flag comes out. Rusty across the line finds some time. He will demote Jesper to P9 and take P8 for himself. Craig will be next, trying to break it to the 129s and take it to a number in the Ferrari. The Sauber across the line. 129.8 moves him to P11. He jumps Rogue as well. Frosty across the line, P10. A Ferrari across the line. That was lit up to P7. Just misses out on P6, actually. J-Story improves the time, but not the position. Misses out by 1,000th on P3. He will be P4 at best. I think that's CAC headed to the line. He's found time. That's going to be very tight around P5. Yes, very, very close here between P5 and P8. Who else just jumped up? I believe that was Ruin to P9. Gold Killer also comes across the line. Number no longer in a competitive lap, and neither is Jesper. So I think that's going to do it for the session. Ghost Viper just a little bit too fast for everyone during this session. And I don't want to say handily because it was still under a quarter second, but it was a comfortable pole position for the Williams driver. Getting out some other guys with a ton of pace. Very tight on the second row, and then between P6. Did I get Turner to P5? Did I call that out? Maybe that was much earlier. But P6, Master to P8 within 0.02 of a second. So very tight here in the upper midfield. I think we're in for an exciting one. Also, I just got the notification that 20 people are watching this. It's been a long time since I've seen 20 people tuned into the PRL stream, so that is very exciting. Hopefully you guys are in for a good one. So your grid for today's bomb-riddled Bahrain Grand Prix. I'm just going to keep throwing it in there. Ghost Viper with Pole and Gold Killer will start next to him on the front row. Bingo Jimbo and J Story on row 2. Turner and Master, Lit and Cac, Rogue and Rusty round out the top 10. Jesper in his return will start 11th next to Frosty. There's Craig, Number, and Tar Heels running out a 15-car field. I think we were hoping to get Rossi in here, and it just hasn't happened. And I think same with Justin. Let me see if I have... Maybe I have Rossi, and I could try to send him an invite. Jesper says, beat his target of P12. Now, the second target is to finish the race. Let me see if I can... Do I have Rossi? I have so many people added now from the various leagues I'm in. Say various. I didn't see them. Yeah, Justin said he might not make it in time. I think he's coming off a pretty good finish last week. Oh, so I'm stupid. Bingo Jimbo did not win last week. It was Justin that won last week, but I was going through the stats this morning. I think that's why I thought Jimbo won, because it said he had the highest pace by a little bit. So I guess I was dumb and thought Jimbo won, but Justin, our defending winner, is not going to be here. Holy hell, I got to turn a fan on in here. It is so hot. The weather here in the southern United States has been all over the place recently. We had snow last week. It's 80-some degrees today. That's Fahrenheit. I don't know what that is for European. Yeah, great quality. Setting up quite nicely for the race. I think we're going to have a lot of good battles on our hands. I think Bahrain lends itself to good battles. Almost a cookie-cutter track, but I think it makes for good racing in this game. Of course, you're going to get your DRS trains, your DRS overtakes, but I think there's other spots that you can make your way around and get into battles, so... All right, formation lap getting underway. We will have a 15-car grid. Let's see how we're looking on tires. Yep, so it's going to be mediums and hards. Front row on the hards, J-Story in 4th on the hards. So is Lit in 7th and Rusty in 10th. Everyone else on the yellow-walled medium tire. So keep an eye out for Jimbo on the start, on the better rubber, looking to make the most of it into turn 1. Got a little bit of a separation here, it looks like. It's just cruising. No. Who is it? Yeah. Bit of a gap growing there on the formation lap. So Ghost Viper might have to wait a little bit as the grid pulls back up to the front. Let's get some of this stuff ready. I like having position change for the first lap or two, now that we've seen the tires. See how quickly I can run and get a drink. Hold up. There we go. All right, plenty of time. Oh. There we go. Now I'm ready for a 45-minute race. Got some snackage next to me. Got my drink. Got the Discord open. Got my stats running. And the whole field pulling up. They look to the lights. So we wait for the light sequence. 3, 4, 5 red lights. They are off and we are underway from Bahrain. A little bit of ghosting here on the start. Jimbo making a good move to the inside. So a good jump, 3 wide behind him. Maybe a little bit of contact through turn 1. Ghost Viper getting away cleanly. Jimbo gotten a good start with those mediums as we had called out. And it's a mess behind him. 3 wide into turn 4. That does not go. There was a Rusty on the inside. I'm not sure CAC knew that he was top 3. Turned in a bit, and that sends Rusty down the order. Jimbo all the way to the rear of Ghost Viper. Viper hasn't gotten away into clean air just yet. He's not out of the woods. Into tricky turn 10. Let's see if we got some action. A Haas going well deep. That's Master and contact. He turns in on Rusty, trying to make the corner. So lap 1 action here in the midfield. I think Master's just getting out of the way now, trying to keep it together. Does he have damage? Is he just ceding the position to Rusty after the contact? He's going to lose more. He's clicked to his teammate. So go into turn 13. Yeah, the warfare is off track and also on track here in Bahrain. Lit took a look, but will not make the move. Jesper down 3 spots on the first lap, actually. Ghost Viper leads the field back into 1. Runs a little bit wide. He's not going to have great momentum through the kink. Jimbo all over the rear. Gets DRS this time. Not close enough. It's these two now pulling away. They've got the second gap from Justin. And we have some side-by-side into turn 4. That was Ruin, I think, backed out, lost the position. Master already with a time penalty. We've got a long way to go on this one. Took a shallow line, might have sent it on the inside of Rogue, but doesn't quite get there. Can we get a slightly further back angle as he dives to the inside on Rogue into turn 10? Maybe ill-advised. He'll have DRS this time. But so will Rogue. Late on the brakes to the inside, and oh, they avoid contact. Very close there. He's actually going to lose the position to Frosty. So I think Master filling himself on the mediums, maybe going a bit too aggressive here in the early going. This is just in the midfield. Got some guys running away at the front. Jimbo tucked in, and we are just now getting to lap 3. Remember, Jimbo on those medium tires. He has DRS. It should be a slam dunk overtake side by side into turn 1. Ghost Viper out braking. They leave each other just enough room into the kink of 2 and into turn 3. Who actually has the DRS? It is the Red Bull, so he will take the position. Jimbo out front, where I thought he was last week. But now he is for reals this time. Making the most of those medium tires, taking the battle to Ghost Viper here in the early going. Now he needs to try to stretch this out a little bit, so he knows he'll be on worse tires than Ghost Viper later in the race. Here's J Story, who is now leading a train of Turner, Cack, and Gold Killer. Gold Killer, one of the losers at the front, dropping 4. I say loser specifically, not as a general term. I'm sure you're not a loser, Gold Killer. Same with Lit, down 4, and Master down 6. Number just got a track limits penalty. They were really close to each other. Jesper down 3. Those are the droppers. Cack up 3. So is Frosty and Craig. They are the gainers here. So rough start for Master. J Story going to get overtaken easily here by Turner. Ghost Viper out back in front. So these two will probably continue to swap positions for a little bit. Rusty and Frosty through turns 1, 2, and 3. Rusty getting clear here. Does not have DRS. Will there be a move attempted? No. Plenty of action here in the midfield I want to keep an eye on. So it's the top 2, then the next 4, and then Ruin Rogue leading this train. Really, it's not much of a train, as Rusty's still over a second behind, but it could become one quite quickly. Got a Haas all the way inside. That's Frosty getting... I think he was already ahead of Craig, but trying to defend on Craig and go after Rusty. Jimbo tucked in behind Ghost Viper. I'm sure he'll have another shot here. Viper a little move to the inside, but not super defensive. And Jimbo makes the pass. Will it hold as Cack just got swallowed up and did not have a great line through turn 2. It's a tough little kink if you are not on the racing line, and he's going to drop a ton of time here. Looked like Turner held off Story, but I think Cack and Gold Killer were going at it. My guess is Killer held Cack to the inside and led for not a great line for the Mercedes man. Ooh, into the back of the Alpine he goes under braking. Little bump and run action. They're going to be side by side. No, back out. Smart move there. Tricky, tricky corner. I'm reminded of a NASCAR broadcast where they would do the crank it up. You know, as J Story into the back of Turner in the final corners. You know, where the commentators would shut the hell up for a lap or two and you just get to listen to the sweet sounds of the engines. That's what we were going for there. So a little bit of bumping, but it's we're close proximity. Still in the early going, lap 6. Means the cars are still close together. We're getting some great racing, but it means there'll be some bumps and scrapes and bruises. Jimbo got close, but not close enough for a move on Viper into turn 4. We're back on board with Cack. We kind of get a whole view of this battle. It's going very deep, very brave on the anchors into turn 8. That is turn 8, yeah? Yes. So he's already gotten into the back of Gold Killer once there. Could happen again. Here's Rogue, kind of chilling by himself. Rusty trying to make inroads there. And he's got this whole train behind him. Look at this, just gaggle of cars. That's P8 to P14. Gonna go back to Gold Killer real quick. That was some close battling. Jesper getting by Master. Master picking up another 3 seconds. There we go. Pretty good run through the final corner. Everyone will have DRS here. Well, except for the guy in front, Turner. Bingo Jimbo gets by Ghost Viper. They've got a battle here. Gonna hop to that. Wheel-to-wheel action. I thought Gold Killer was gonna make a move, and that's why I had gone to him. So Jimbo and Viper going back and forth as Master calls it a day in the pit lane. He will be P15. Just a tough go for him and picked up, I don't know, 16 seconds of penalties already. The Saubers battling each other. Rusty has been caught out of line. He was P8. Craig got by him. Frosty got by him. Maybe an error, driver error there. Getting off the line. Getting out of the rhythm that's needed to complete that S section. And he's dropped 2 spots back to P10 where he had started. Rusty trying to use some battery. Will he make a move into the penultimate corner? He will. And didn't leave too much room on the outside, but will have the advantage as Frosty heads to the pit lane, actually, after just 7 laps. Frosty onto the softs. Interesting call here. Trying to remember if he had started on mediums or hards. But he'll throw on the soft tire. He will come out P14, a bit of a gap to Tar Heels ahead. But now he's got a ton of clean track. Maybe he's expecting everyone to go 2-stop and just wants to get as much clean air and undercut the hell at everyone. Oh, I missed something here. Turner has fallen back. J-Story is now P3. With CAC just behind, but Turner and Gold Killer have fallen away here. Is there damage to the front of that car? That'd give me some insight on what happened. I don't see any damage there. I don't see any damage for either of the cars, actually. Whatever happened, it happened this lap. This is a lap that'll be way off the pace. Into the 137s, 38s? Yeah. 4 seconds slower than those around him, so it must have been that lap. We have a car around, and we also have a car in the pit lane. Craig heads to the pits. Tar Heels is around in turn 13. We'll shuffle up the order just a bit. Gives Frosty more clean air to work with. Craig onto the hard tire. Like these are early stops. A lot of guys really committing to the 2-stop. Frosty will get ahead of Craig. That's a little bit of an undercut. I think he was 2 or 3 spots behind Craig before he hit the pit lane. At the front, Ghost Viper putting a little bit of distance between himself and Jimbo. He's broken the DRS of 1 second. Imagine the mediums not quite feeling as great as they were in the early going. Hard tire probably the better tire now. J-Story and CAC Supreme fighting for third. CAC within that second. Gold Killer really on the back and now next to Turner as they head towards the final corners. As the nose ahead under braking, but Turner is able to break deeper. Maybe a little bit of DRS chicken happening here. Does not get a good run out of the final corner. So he will not be able to retaliate into turn 1. He drops a ton of time. CAC into the pit lane. Was it Rogue that just got a 10-second penalty? Bit of a double stack here for Mercedes. I think it was Rogue that overshot. Yeah, so it has a 10-second penalty that will either be added on or be served at the next pit stop. He goes to the hards. Probably take the hards to the end here. Might suck, but you can. Shuffles the order a bit. CAC ahead of Frosty. Ruin behind Frosty. We get some movement in the midfield. Jesper gets by Lit. I think we've lost Lit. I don't have him. I cannot re-add him to the race. So now the ghost of Lit will continue its journey around. Back to this battle for P4. That's Gold Killer and Turner. The top 8 have not hit the pit lane just yet. We saw he made a move here the previous lap. Is he going to be close enough? No. Should set up for more momentum out of the final corner, though. Can set up a move into turn 1. This is 10-lap-old hards chasing 10-lap mediums. Yeah, plenty of overspeed here, emptying the battery to make the move. And I think that's going to leave him in a tough position as we head down towards turn 4. Going defensive, you can see holding the middle of the track. Trying to hold Turner to the outside line, and he is going to hold off an attack from the McLaren driver. Gold Killer to P4. Rusty to the pit lane. Bit later than those around him. He'll come out P12. Still the top 7 and Tar Heels at 14th have yet to pit. I've been talking for the last minute, but I had muted to drink my water, and then I didn't unmute, so that's cool. I was calling out the action here. I was going to say, Rogue may have had some help off track there. Possibly from Craig, or maybe an incident on his own, but he's dropped down 2 spots. Gold Killer has been battling Jay Story. He now gets him on the front straight. Literally for like 2 laps I've been talking. So that's good. That's fun. Both taking advantage of Jimbo and Turner hitting the pit lane, and Jesper now in the pit lane as well. So now the top three on the hard tires. The same ones that they started the race on. Lit, or the ghost of him, is in the pit lane. So Turner comes out in front of some traffic, so good work there, being able to stay ahead of the fray. Has some room to push on new hard tires that should get him to the end now. Rogue to the inside, a tap with Rusty, but Ruin gets the worst end of that, and it's still not that bad, a bit of a wiggle. And on they go. Number all over the back of Jesper now. Jesper on the brand new hard tires. They might not be up to temperature yet. And Number on some warmed up mediums. Let's see. All over the back of the Aston Martin to the inside. Does he get the braking right? Was there a touch? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if there was a touch there. But Number gets by. I cannot say definitively if there was help or if Jesper just overshot on the brakes and went wide, which is super easy to do into turn 10. So the Ferrari man moves to P11. Rogue still chasing down Rusty for P9. We've got a little bit more spaced out here at the front as we've got varying strategies among the leaders. I don't have you. I don't think I can invite you on. I don't have you on PSN or EA lit. So I wouldn't be able to re-add you. If any of the other racers who have yet to pit or are going to pit soon have lit, could you add them during the pit stop? That'd be awesome. Yeah, or send me, yeah, there you go. Send me a friend request. H00PBK on pretty much everything. And then I might be able to add you back. And we can get you back into this one. You put on the soft tires. Your Ghost did not set you up for success here on strategy, but oh, Gold Killer to the pit lane. He had started on the hards, 14 laps, so he's going to be doing quite the stint on the medium tires. Let's see how that's going to work out for him. Frosty to the pit lane as well. He's got to ditch those softs, so he's done 2 stints already. We're halfway through this one. Is he going to go to the hards for the remainder? I would not be surprised. Yeah. Frosty got to get to the end of the race now. Still undercutting quite a few guys, I think. Still think there's going to be another round of pit stops. Side by side into turn 1. We saw that Number and Jesper, and no one made that corner. My EAID lit is H00PBK at the end. H00PBK. Yeah, I don't know if Jesper just blew the braking there, but neither driver making turn 1. Rusty and Craig have been next to each other pretty much the entire race. If not next to each other, then someone sandwiched between them. So the Saubers chilling together. It's good to have a buddy. Gold Killer on fresh tires, P5. Everyone ahead of him. Well, I don't know. 2 drivers ahead certainly need to pit. Ghost Viper pretty much has a pit stop advantage on J-Story for P2. Jimbo and Supreme on wearing in or worn in hards. So I would not be surprised if the Alpine turns in a blazing lap, his first real lap, or full lap on the mediums. See, using a lot of battery. See, the battery levels are a bit lower for Gold Killer. So really trying to push first full lap. On fresh tires, but don't want to blow them out, especially you got to go kind of a long ways. So a long way to go in this race, especially if you don't plan on stopping again. Let's see where this lap lines up with the rest of the race. Fastest lap of the race, 1:31.5. Alright, let me see if I can get lit back in here. Very sorry that this has happened to you. It's always a pain in the butt. And it's even better that I already... Here, might have to refresh. Here we go. Alright, sent you an EA invite. Now, don't apologize. That's honestly what the commentator's for. If you guys are watching this and don't have me on EA, you're doing yourself a disservice, because internet goes out all the time. EA servers go out all the time, so always try to have your commentator added before you go into the race, and they can bail you out when something like that happens. So just want to get as many guys in here as possible to be able to enjoy the race. So Ghost Viper starting lap 18. He has been metronomic at the front. 17 laps on the hards and just cruising. Running maybe into the 134s now, but has nothing to worry about behind. Even if he comes out behind some of these guys, and he might, fresh mediums or fresh softs, has plenty of time, and he won't come out very far behind these guys. So in a great spot. Gold Killer turning in another 131.5 as he has gotten to the rear of CAC pretty much already. Move to the inside? No, not into turn 1. Could see it into turn 4. On board the AMG Petronas Mercedes. To the inside as I look the wrong way. They're side by side through 4. But the Mercedes stays ahead. You didn't even get the invitation? Here, let me do it one more time. One more time for you. Let's see it. Okay. I accepted the request again, because that's good. Alright. I'm sorry, Lit. Yeah, I don't even think it'd really make a difference for you. I think you're locked in. Ghost Viper has a tire down. He has run it to puncture territory. Our leader's having trouble. And he has just lost 10 seconds. Great call there, Master. I just missed that, but Ghost Viper having tire troubles has gone too far on those hard tires and will hit the pit lane. This could completely change the race. Do you think Jay Story's like, yeah, screw this, I'm pitting too? Yep. Jay Story will also go through the pit lane, so those last two drivers to pit, and it has cost Ghost Viper massively. Lost 10 seconds plus on the in lap with the puncture. Goes to the mediums, and he's going to come out well behind. It was going to come up behind Turner. And he'll have Jay Story behind him. So Ghost Viper, a great run, but just one lap too long on the hards. He comes out P5. The Sauber's going at it just behind him. Jesper and Frosty going at it into turn 1. Now we have some action. Everyone was spread out just a touch for a while. Now Jesper trying to hold off Frosty and Number for P10. Rusty going after Craig for P7. And Ghost Viper now on the fresh tires. Trying to at least get back into a podium position. It's left Jimbo out front. And Gold Killer making a move to the inside at turn 11 of CAC to take P2. Where he's on those medium tires. Needs to get the most out of them. But he still has a long way to go for those mediums. Especially if 17 laps on the hards is puncture territory. 15 laps on the mediums could be puncture territory as well. CAC will have DRS and have a chance to respond. Viper to the inside. No DRS needed on Turner. Gets past the McLaren to P4. Yeah, EA servers are not known for being good. Very unfortunate we have to deal with that on a weekly basis. CAC, a chance to respond? Yes, we'll get by Gold Killer into turn 4. Now these two are going to battle, and Jimbo's going to waltz away with P1. It's like they are giving each other the DRS, but I'm not sure they're going any faster or catching Jimbo. So maybe it could be more of a defense from Ghost Viper here, but CAC and Gold Killer going back and forth. Not sure if they're... Let's see how the lap times are this time, as they are pretty much trading every single DRS zone. Side by side. In the uphill section on the run to turn 14, and CAC ahead. Ghost Viper, that's a great cut, great split in 2 sectors. These two still going at it. Ghost Viper, he's primed for the fastest lap of the race here. CAC's turn to pull out and pass Gold Killer for P2. Yeah, 130.7. Smash his fastest lap there. They will continue going back and forth. Rusty and Rogue both in, and Rogue picks up another 10-second penalty, and he's going to have to serve his other 10-second penalty. Another speeding for Number. So getting it to that window for the final pit stop. Oh, I meant to see... Yep, so Gold Killer 2/10 slower than Jimbo that lap. What about this lap? Ooh. Yep, so they are not... Maybe they're not holding each other up too much, but they're not really catching. Ghost, however, is catching. He was 2.5 seconds faster than Jimbo that lap. Let's actually go to the leader. That kind of rate, I know it's not. He's not going to be able to keep up that rate. But Ghost Viper not out of the picture just yet. I think these two are going to fade pretty quickly, as they just have not been able to keep up. But Ghost Viper, we will continue to keep an eye with 7-8 laps to go. Gotta shout out Jesper. P9 was holding off some other drivers for a little bit. Has put himself in a good position for a top 9. Welcome back. Ghost Viper catching more in the 131s and about 2 seconds faster than those ahead. So still chunks out of each lap, and he might be within DRS and making a move the next time he heads down to turn 1. Here, let's look at the penalties real quick. So remember, Gold Killer has that 3-second penalty. That will drop him down the order, and at this point, could knock him off the podium. Frosty dealing with 6 seconds. As of now, that would only drop him 1 position, and then a number of penalties at the rear of the field that could or could not affect those placements. So Ghost Viper within a second now. We'll have DRS. He has the flap open. Sees, well, what are those? Yeah, welcome back. You're about to get put down a lap. Well, already down a lap, unfortunately. But glad to see that you're able to get behind the wheel and not a specter of sorts. Ghost Viper to the back of CAC. CAC Supreme trying to hold off this hard-charging Williams, who is in control of this race, and then a puncture cost him precious time. Diving out of the way there. Good work by the Ferrari man. All over the rear. He should have it this time. To the outside. Just going to have so much extra speed. Look at that. No battery on that Williams, though. And he will move back to P3. With the time penalty, he's P2. That time penalty to Gold Killer. But still has 4.5 seconds to the leader. Already getting clear. CAC might not even have DRS. It's going to be close. Can CAC stay to the at the rear wing? No. So slam dunk overtake there for Ghost Viper with the DRS help, and now pulling away. Eyes up the road to the Alpine. Even if he is not P2 on the timing sheet any longer, Gold Killer still wants to hold on to that spot. You never know what can happen. Ghost Viper could pick up a penalty of his own. He is not going to make it easy for the Williams driver. Jimbo on those hard tires. Let's say not comfortably leading anymore. Half second slower than Gold Killer last lap. Now with 5 laps to go, he has benefited from the misfortune of the Williams of Ghost Viper. Is he in position to grab his first PRL victory? I believe. I've already been wrong about Jimbo once this race, so a second time can't hurt me too bad, right? Gold Killer almost got it down to within a second. He's not quite going to have DRS in this zone, but he may on the front straight. Those tires starting to get away from Jimbo. So running in a bit more lap traffic, that's Tar Heels ahead. Keep an eye on this. We'll hop back real quick. The J-Story still catching Turner. Over a second and a half last lap quicker. Trying to get back to P5. Been a good battle brewing. But speaking of battles, look at this. Ghost Viper and Gold Killer both within a second of each other. And Gold Killer within a second of Jimbo. Trying to get through the lap traffic. Tar Heels just trying to get out of the way, but not a great spot on the track to get caught. He'll dive out of the way for Ghost Viper. Look at this, 1.5 seconds between first and third. Gold Killer smells blood in the water. But Ghost Viper, it's like there's always a bigger fish, right? Gold Killer, aging mediums, checking out aging hards, and Ghost Viper just a little bit fresher and driving with a vengeance. He knows this race should be his. He sits P3. Flap open. I think Gold Killer charging a touch on this straightaway, and they are side by side going back up the hill. Ghost Viper takes P2 on track. He sends it down the inside, catching on that straightaway, and completes the move as they go back up the hill. Heading to 3 laps to go. Ghost Viper just on the rear wing of the Red Bull of Jimbo. Back crawling all the way back to P2. Gold Killer just behind. He's close enough that he can actually read the Oracle logo on the rear wing. So watch this trio head down to turn 4. They're going to head through the S's. We're going to go to Frosty real quick. Let's see if they can make a move on Craig. This is for P7, though Frosty is dealing with a penalty. Good slipstream here. Goes further and further to the bottom. Late on the brakes into turn 1. Does he get the car rotated? A little too deep. Is Craig going to get him on 2 and 3? A bit of a switchback move. Switches back again. Better momentum for Craig. Craig with the wing open, still to the inside. The turn in, maybe a little bit of a touch. A little bit of a touch into 4. Still some tight racing going on, even with penalties looming here in the midfield. Back towards the front. Gone through another DRS zone, and Viper still closer and closer to Jimbo. This trio within 1.2 seconds of each other now. Viper sniffed to the inside. No move there. He's got to wait it out. A good run off of turn 14 and 15. We'll have DRS. 2 laps to go. Ghost Viper to the inside. Regains the lead. Into turn 1. Heavy braking. He's got it into 2. Can he get a good run? All the way to the outside, holding the outside line into turn 4. And Ghost Viper, after what could have been a devastating blow with a puncture while he was running away with the race in his first stint, had to pit, lost 10 seconds of time from the puncture, was sent out back onto the track at P5 and has had to claw his way back. He had the time, he had the pace, but it was never going to be a sure thing. It still isn't a sure thing as Jimbo is within DRS, excuse me. But he is really fighting those tires, trying to get the car rotated. And Gold Killer now just kind of fading with the aging mediums. Just got to get him around one more time. Jimbo still within DRS, so we'll have 3 zones to make a move and make it stick. Final lap here in Bahrain. And that's not fireworks that just went off. Those were missiles. Gets alongside into turn 1. Sends it in. Switch back side by side into 2, and Jimbo's going to lose out there. He did not have the optimal line. That inside line into 2 is the outside into 3. Doesn't have momentum. Viper back out front. It was admirable. It did not stick. He's going to have one more opportunity. At least one more DRS-assisted opportunity. I think with the tire offset, that's all he has left. Into turn 8. Can he get traction out? I don't think he really can. Still with the DRS. Trail braking into 10. A lot of curb. Is he going to be close enough? I'm not sure even with DRS he will make it close enough. He's 8/10ths back now. The short run. It's a short DRS zone. I don't think he's going to get it. Bingo Jimbo held on to the lead for as long as he could. An admirable attempt into turn 1. But the pace, the fresh tires, and honestly, the story was all in Ghost Viper's favor. Ghost Viper dominated qualifying, started running away in the early stages. It successfully faces adversity to win round 2 of Season 16 of Tier 2 PRL. Welcome back to the top, Ghost Viper. Gold Killer holds on even with the penalty for P3. And now you hear the fireworks, and I don't think that's actually fireworks. So everyone needs to duck and cover. Frosty across the line. Holds... Well, he will hold on to the position, actually. He will, only by a quarter second. So we got a couple more across the line. Jesper comes across P9. A couple more laps, he may have caught Craig. Rusty across the line, P10. Now, luckily, everyone does get points in the league. I think as long as you finish the race, you get points. Craig says his tires were on 85%. That is brutal. So probably a one stop there. We'll see in a second. Yep, everyone gets points if you complete the race. Or at least classified. So great win there for Ghost Viper. Absolute cinema. So we get a good look at the podium. He is our race winner and the fastest lap holder, so an extra point there, and an extra point for pole position as well. Frosty gets driver of the day. I think I would go Ghost Viper considering what he had to go through. That's the announcer's choice. Jesper gets most overtakes. Not too bad for an old man. And Jay Story gets cleanest driver. Our final results. Ghost Viper win from pole. Bingo Jimbo P2 and Gold Killer P3. Cac Supreme gets P4 and Turter P5. Jay Story is 6th. Frosty 7th from 12th on the grid. Craig 8th, and yep, that was a one stop. Jesper 9th. Rusty is 10th. Ruin Rogue 11th. Number is 12th. Lit 13th, or the ghost thereof. Tar Heels 14th. And Master DNFs and will be placed 15th. Craig also says he threw away his track limit bonus on the last lap, so quite unfortunate there. Truly devastating. The action is not done yet for today, so make sure you tune in to Fridge's channel at 4 o'clock for Tier 1 action. Until next time from me, which will probably be on Wednesday, I've been Hoop BK. This has been Performance Racing League. I'll see you next time.